Golden State Warriors, probably the most talked about NBA team in the last 8 years span. From being the underdogs that won a championship that everyone celebrated to being the most hated team in the league, they went through it all. But the dynasty is still far from over. So why is this dynasty good for the league? Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and let's get into it. The Golden State Warriors Dynasty started with drafting a small skinny kid from Davidson in 2009, named Steph Curry. But getting Steph Curry back in 2009 seemed highly unlikely, as the Timberwolves desperately needed a point guard and had 2 picks before the Warriors. However, Timberwolves decided to go with Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn instead of picking Steph Curry, and at the time, it kinda made sense. Ricky Rubio was a highly anticipated European prospect who had an incredible basketball IQ for his age, but wasn't a great shooter, which NBA franchises thought he can develop, while Johnny Flynn was a phenomenal prospect in high school and at Syracuse. He was incredibly athletic and had loads of potential. However, a hip surgery was the one that derailed his career, and so it happened that Steph Curry fell into the Warriors' hands. The second cornerstone of the franchise was drafted in 2011 with the 11th pick out of Washington State, Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, later in their career, will be known as Splash Brothers and the best shooting backcourt of all time. But at this point, Warriors were in their baby stage, and in 2012, they got the third cornerstone for their team, out of Michigan State, Draymond Green. The fact that Draymond even ended up on the Warriors, looking back, should have been very unlikely, as he was picked with the 35th pick. But at the same time, the drafting report stated, one of those great college basketball players that doesn't excel in any particular area. Tweener, undersized for a physical forward, yet lacks athleticism for a wing, lacks explosiveness, agility, elusiveness, and quickness off the bounce. Under the rim finisher, which is troublesome when you consider his size. Not a threat to shake his defender off the dribble. Minimal upside, vulnerable, defending quicker guards on the perimeter. Could stand to drop some weight. Who would have thought back then that these 3 players would launch a dynasty we will never forget? But before we get into it, there's just one small detail that is crucial to the story. In 2012, March 13, Golden State Warriors traded Monte Ellis, Kwame Brown, and Nick Udo to the Bucks for Andrew Bogut and Stephen Jackson. At the time, Monte Ellis was the leader of the team, and fans hated the franchise for trading their star player. What they didn't understand at the time is that this trade, just a few years later, will be the reason Warriors will win their first championship in 40 years. From there on out, we all know the story. Warriors won the NBA championship in 2015 with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love injured in those series. Had the best regular season record of all time, but lost a 3-1 lead against the Cavs in the NBA Finals in 2016. Afterwards, added Kevin Durant, which allowed them to win 2 more championships in a row. But crippled with injuries, they lost in 2019 NBA Finals against the Toronto Raptors. And at that point, it looked like their dynasty is over, as Kevin Durant left the Warriors for the Nets, and Klay Thompson in Game 6 of the 2019 NBA Finals suffered an injury which kept him off the court for the entire 2019-2020 NBA season, just for him to tear his ACL in the offseason, after which Klay Thompson came back only in the 2021-2022 NBA season. Warriors were the worst team in the league in 2020, but just 2 years later, they were yet again the NBA champion. That just doesn't happen in the NBA. It takes years for a team to rebuild, but Warriors did it on a fly and drafted such young talented players as James Wiseman, Jordan Poole, and Jonathan Kuminga in the process. So let's go back to the question in hand. Why the Golden State Warriors dynasty is good for the league? Well, the answer was set throughout this video. Golden State Warriors built their team from ground up. They didn't get any huge signings until they already won the NBA championship. They did it through great drafting, taking risks, development, and great scouting process. Teams had chances to pick Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green way before the Warriors did, but they all skipped on them and allowed Warriors to build the dynasty around their 3 cornerstones. Granted, maybe if Steph Curry ended up in Minnesota, he wouldn't have been the player he is today. The same goes for Klay and Draymond. But because developing the players' talent is another strength of the Warriors organization, they managed to get the best out of these players. And considering they got loads of young talent on their team, Warriors are not going anywhere when Steph, Klay, and Draymond all retire. Golden State Warriors are everything that every organization should want to be. They have a great development system for their young players. They are great at drafting and spotting talent even in the second round of the draft. And they have a great coaching staff, which will allow their dynasty to continue. They are truly the new look San Antonio Spurs. If you enjoyed this video, press the like and the subscribe button, and see you in the future video.